Okay, hi everybody, just welcome to my channel. This is You Too Can Be Great. This is the Real Housewives of Atlanta season 14 episode 2 review. All aboard the Gaslight Express, and there was a whole lot of shit going on with that gaslighting in this episode. Now, here's the thing about the situation. We've all had a lot of scuttlebutt around town and on Twitter, and everybody's saying that Drew's storyline or this entire situation with the assistant is similar to what happened with her husband supposedly disappearing on her when they had a fight, and that all this is just for show and that she's not really legit. Her storyline is not legit. The way that the storyline, however, is playing out, it's very difficult for me to say that it's fake. And I know Drew's an actor, okay, so she can act the ass off. But Ralph doesn't seem to have that kind of talent, okay? As in, he's talentless in a lot of ways. So I feel like part of the reasons why I'm having a hard time going with the whole fake storyline thing is because of how it's playing out in front of us. So that's the problem I'm having with the situation. But I'm going to go ahead and do the review, and you guys let me know what you think based on what's occurring. So it starts off with they're at Sanya's house, and Sanya, you know, the little track star Jamaican girl, beautiful as she is, her mama Sharon is there, and now her sister Sheree has joined them with her husband and her 2 kids, and Sheree is also her hairdresser. And they're over here arguing about meat pies. Okay, now I'm not going to be the one to judge because them meat pies are good. Do not touch my meat pie. If food is my thing, and if I put my hand on something, I don't want to share. I don't want to share. And that seems to be an issue where they first start arguing about whose box of meat pie that their mama brought from Jamaica when she recently visited is whose. Mommy seems to be a little bit sensitive, probably because she's now had to adjust to the additional people in the house. Sharee's like, girl, this is one of the reasons why I didn't want to be here, because I like my space and mama's too sensitive and we're already going through shit. I don't even know if I could be here. And Sharon, on the other hand, Sanya, on the other hand, is enjoying having her family here, because if she has her hairstylist there, her family support, her mom's a momager, it's supposed to help boost her career. But she forgetting the fact that her husband wants a baby. Girl, you better go ahead and just give him that baby, because that's what he's asking for. It ain't gonna go away. Then we have the next scene with Sheree's house. Sheree tends to take a very long time to do things. She takes a long time to start this damn joggers line that we've been waiting for the last decade to see, and we still ain't have it. But when she does put something out there, I do see that the type of detail that Sheree takes to do her stuff, it ends up fruitful, because I'm looking at her house, the one that her mama's now, you know, living in her crib, the one that her ex-husband tried to get in on when he was trying to pretend like he really wanted to be with her, when he just wanted to be in that damn house, not that she's successful, made himself look like a fool, all the shit that he abused her ass. He even had the decency to apologize to the ugly ass. But anyway, Kenya is now invited to Chateau Sheree. And y'all remember that last season or whatever, when Sheree was in there, Kenya took her ass into the basement. The basement was unfinished, and it was supposed to be Sheree's housewarming. I don't even know why Sheree had a housewarming with her basement unfinished. I wouldn't have done that. Because now looking at the basement, what she did, it's like a whole club. She got a lounge there. She got a bar. She got a high ceiling. Hell, you can't even hate on that. And Kenya herself said you can't hate on this shit because it looks bomb as hell. So I'm very happy that Chateau Sheree and all the issues that she was having, not paying the damn contractors and shit, that the house still came out looking as good as it did. I'm so proud of her for bringing out into fruition. So Kenya's at her house, and it seems like her, Sheree and Kenya, are now fostering a friendship now that Cynthia's not on the show. And Cynthia has since had issues with Kenya and their friendship too. Nene ain't there, Cynthia ain't there, Fader ain't there, Portia ass in there. So now Kenya has to now build another alliance with someone. So she picks Sheree because she knows that you'd rather be friends with Sheree than be her enemy. Kenya ain't dumb. She's smart as hell. So she goes to Sheree's house, and she's talking to Sheree. Sheree is now taking on the bone carrier title, as she has won time and time again. And she's now relaying to Kenya all the shit that Marlo was talking about her during her Le Spell Wrongly Archive, I guess, introduction, her little opening, whatever that she went to. And Kenya was talking shit. And Marlo and her are still kind of on an edge with their friendship. So Marlo took what Kenya was saying to heart about what, you know, some of the stuff that she would have changed if it was her own event. Marlo should be happy that Kenya didn't come up in there and did the whole Kenya more hair care with the drum line and everything like that. Kenya actually came on what I would assume would be her best behavior. She just had an opinion just like everybody else. Marlo, however, targeted Kenya and started talking about how she lived in a house with a white refrigerator and all this other stuff, making me have to look at my refrigerator to make sure that shit ain't white. But Now Sheree's relaying to her all the stuff that they were talking about her, and Kenya with the freaking shade, the shade queen. Kenya will eat Marlo alive when it comes to giving shade. We all know that because Eva got Marlo's ass easy too. And one of the things that she caught her was her damn hairline, that she said that she didn't have she had a implant, whatever, or she had it implanted to where her hairline was supposed to now be good when she put on her little wig. And Kenya's like, what she say? She said she got a chia pet on her head. She needs to just go ahead and get a chia pet, put some pet seeds on there, water it, and let the edges grow because it still ain't right. Now watch next season, Marlo's gonna go and do something else surgically to her hair to try and now bat whatever Kenya said about her hair. She's gonna go get something else done to fix that chia pet situation. In the midst of this conversation, Sheree is on the phone with Sanya. Sanya, the second bone carrier, confirms all the shit that Sheree is saying, that Marlo said about Kenya, relaying it to her. Kenya decides to give Sheree the tea. Listen, your former assistant, who from my understanding used to work for you from 3 years ago, his name is Anthony, the one that we saw with the libations that all those little props he gave Candy that made her want to drink for the first time. Shit, I want to take that drink too. But Anthony is a mouth. Anthony is gossiping and basically talking shit about every single thing that he thinks Sheree did him wrong to Drew, now that he's Drew's assistant. Now, we all know that Sheree has had issues in the past. People say she ain't paid him, like the contractors say she ain't paying him the money. I mean, there's been several situations she's had where she would, the person that she talked to, who gonna check me, boo? There's been several issues that she has with people that she's either worked with or worked for. And Anthony's now saying that she don't pay him. She has several, that she didn't pay him either. And so, for that, he's now relaying some bullshit to Drew, and Drew's now letting Candy know we share assistants, and this dude is talking shit. I'm spreading all of Sheree's business. This is why I can't have an assistant, child, not in my private home, because I feel like once you leave me, or if I fire you, or if there's something going wrong, the entire neighborhood will know what's going on in my house, and I don't want that. But now Sheree is aware of the situation via Kenya, and so now I know that it's going to be an issue between her and Drew next episode, because she's going to try to check what Drew's now spreading in the group based on what Anthony's saying, and we don't know if it's factual or if it's just him running his damn mouth. Then we have then we get to the next scene with Drew and her husband Ralph, and she says that Ralph keeps her on tumble drive. Now, this is why I'm not sure about the storyline aspect of the situation, because what she's saying, I don't know if she sat up there. Ralph is not that good of an actor for me to think that all this is fake. Okay, there are some aspects of it maybe exaggerated, but even the shit that Drew's posting on Twitter, it's just the way things are playing out is making me think that Ralph is not this dumb. He really may be actually gaslighting her for real. Because the producers asked Drew, do you know what gaslighting is? When she said that people think that Ralph gaslights her. Then the producers or people in the background, the theater said, do you know what gaslighting is? She said, I don't know. Well, how would you know if he's gaslighting you, bitch, if you don't know what it means? So she now has to go and look up in her phone what gaslighting is. And it basically is what Ralph does, manipulating her, making her think that what she's thinking is true is not really what's happening. Like somebody who gaslights you so much, you may think that you actually losing your mind. I done been in that situation so many times, and I got to the point where I'm too mature enough. I don't have time for it. Drew has not built up a backbone to stand up to Ralph. The love that she has for him allows him to do that. And my thinking is, I think that Ralph treats her the way he treats her because of somehow underlying insecurities within himself. Drew is successful by her own right. Drew got up on this show because we know who Drew is. We don't know who the fuck Ralph is. We know Drew from The Game. We know Drew from being in several movies. That's how we know her. We don't know Ralph from a Can of Paint. So that might be something that's striking his ego. Or maybe there is something that Drew says to him in a fight that makes him feel insecure as a man, to where he has to do all this stupid little shit. I don't even understand why this whole assistant is a conversation. If I fix my mouth and I tell my husband, who I'm married to, that I do not appreciate you communicating with this bitch who has now made herself clear that she is trying to cross line into my marriage, why are you arguing with me? Yo, I should just cut the bitch. It's very simple, unless you want to be fighting with me. That's how it works. So for him to sit up here, he's talking about shit like, well, I fired her, so that should be enough. And then Drew's like, well, you fired her, but you still talking to her. This motherfucker said, well, she's a 50-year-old person. When I was an adult, she was 12, so I can't. But all that bullshit that he was spewing is just trying to make her feel like she's crazy. If I tell you that this bitch is crossing the line, talking about she wants to come and massage my man, why are you still in contact with her? What I'm saying is not wrong. What I'm saying is not irrational. What I'm saying, this makes a lot of sense to any wife in my position. Why are you not getting it? And Ralph has this thing he does where he dances around, and he now, when it's not landing, he now goes, you don't understand a man. You don't understand black man. They ain't got shit to do with it. And it's funny because when Ralph met up with with Todd and Sanya's husband, they both told him how stupid he sounds, because that's just bullshit that's coming out your mouth. They were doing it as a joke, but man, you still look stupid. And then what Ralph tends to do is he tries to put it on her. If you don't want me to talk to him, then you need to just let me know. Just say it with your own mouth. Bitch, why she got to tell you what's the right thing to do to respect her? Because what's going to happen is if she says, yeah, I don't want you to I don't want you to talk to him, I don't want you to have anything to do with him. If she says that, and then it turns out that something good comes out of, maybe, I don't know, maybe she does well in her job or something, then he's going to feel some type of way about it and then blame her. See, this is why, it's because you told me to. That's the way that Ralph operates. The girl already crossed the line. Either you let the bitch go or you go be with her. It's very simple. Then we get to, I'm not going to talk about the other scenes with Marlo going over to Kandi, because they're now fostering a relationship, and Marlo wanting Kandi to now make more of an effort to invite them on family play dates. In addition to Marlo now paying for stuff, more important stuff, to put her nephews out there for their homecoming, buying $1,200 suits, and Kandi making it clear that there's a whole atmosphere in this country that African Americans are just all struggling, and that we don't have to have nice things because of probably what rappers say in the music. We got to came from the gutter, we've been in the gang. All that shit is not what applies to a lot of African Americans. Some of us are successful and grew up in a very successful family to where our parents were dropping us off in Mercedes and Porsches, bitch. But Marlo is saying it as in, Kandi had to make that clear. Not African Americans all come from this environment. There are, just like you have poor white people, poor Hispanic people, poor black people. I'm not saying that racism doesn't exist in this system and that it doesn't play into he doesn't have a huge role in how things are orchestrated, especially with the prison system. It is very clear and evident that there is a bias that needs to be rectified in this country based on that. Because you can go and try to sell a house, because my sister tried to sell hers, and the person who appraised it thought that it was a black person who owned the house. It was appraised lower than if it was a white American who was living in the house. So there are certain things that do occur in that regard. I'm not saying that doesn't exist. What I'm saying is there's a grand ideology that African Americans all don't have shit. And I had somebody make a comment saying, if you give black folks money, all they're going to do is go buy Jordans. Like, there's certain stereotypes that's attributed to African Americans that Marlo did mention about why she went and bought her nephew's $1,200 suit, but she's creating monsters. No, what you're doing is giving them something to aspire to. If they can't afford that $1,200 suit when they're older, they need to bust their ass to go and get it. It's the same thing I'm exposing to my stepkids too. I'm gonna buy you an iPhone. But in the future, when you're an adult, if you want to keep that iPhone, you want to keep upgrading, you better make the money to do so. I expose you to something nicer. Now you need to work hard to go and get it for yourself, not just me providing it. That's a good ideology. That's good things to introduce to kids so that way they can want more and more better in life. So Marlo ain't doing nothing wrong. Then we have, I call it the gaslighting special. Because after Drew has now addressed to Ralph over and over and over and over and over again, I don't want you talking to your assistant the way that you do. I don't want you working with this bitch because she didn't cross the line. Hell, you haven't even told me what you did last season when you disappeared after a fight for days at a time. I don't know where the fuck you were at, who you were fucking, what you were doing. You just left the entire state. I still don't have clarity on that. So what Ralph is doing is, we're not going to get clarity on this if it's a real storyline. But what I'm going to do is do this lavish dinner. I'm going to have somebody come and get you your clothes together. I'm going to have somebody come do your makeup. I'm going to have this nice roses of flowers. I'm going to wine and dine you. I'm going to go ahead and make you feel special throughout the day. And we're going to have this dinner. And in this dinner that we have, while we're having it, I'm going to now try to gloss over all the issues that you're now relaying to me as a problem. And we're just going to pretend like it's not there so I can now get some tonight. That's basically what he's doing, because they're sitting there and they're having a dinner, and Drew lets us know that this is what she enjoys about him. This is what she loves about him, is when he does things like this to make her feel special, make her feel important. But those things are a dime a dozen. He doesn't do it as consistently as she would like, and he does not make her feel like she's the most important person in the world when you're over here entertaining his damn assistant. It's almost like he's doing, there's insecurity in people where they want you to feel like you're not that special because I can go get whatever I want if I want to leave you. So if this assistant is dangling over your head that I could just go be with her because she's throwing her pussy at my face, then you need to be on your best behavior. So you don't need to ask me about shit. Because Drew's sitting there now in the dinner bringing this up, because obviously if this bitch keeps bringing this shit up over and over again, it's something that needs to be addressed because it's still bothering her. But Ralph doesn't want to address it. He now makes it seem like what she's trying to articulate to him in this dinner is all her fault, and that she's trying to fuck shit up by being honest. And Drew now says, there were times when I was finding it very difficult to communicate with you because I'm afraid of your wrath. Like, you are married to this man. If you're incapable of letting him know how you feel, and without him making you seem like you're the problem or communication is a problem. He had the nerve to tell her that he needs to call Dr. Ken and pay for a session for her to learn how to talk to men. And she's like, well, bitch, I will pay for a session for you to learn how to talk to women and stop gaslighting people, basically. And then Drew basically says, you know what, if you want to do that, then you need to know that Dr. Ken also called your ass a maniac. Now, the word maniac did not sit well with him because it's borderline sociopathic. So he doesn't want to be addressed like that, least of all on camera. So he now gets his feelings hurt, and whatever he just basically shuts down and starts condescendingly responding to Drew as if she's incompetent in her brain, as if she doesn't understand what she's saying or she doesn't make any sense. Then the way he talks to her sometimes is almost like belittling her, as if her brain is not functioning with intelligence because she may not know the meaning of maniac to the extent of it. Then he says, oh, Dr. Ken's saying maniac, therapists like to exaggerate or something like that because it's just like a South thing, or he called it like he made it seem like it was something that, if a therapist says you're a maniac, it was just him exaggerating. No, if a therapist says you're a maniac, it's just like when a therapist diagnoses something of sociopathy, that person is sociopathic. It's not them exaggerating. This is how you behave. And the word I would also use for Ralph is narcissistic. That's the word I would also use. That's also an appropriate term to describe the way that you behave. If your wife is sitting up here telling you that this is a problem, instead of you addressing it, you're making her seem like she's crazy. Now Drew starts crying. Now, in this scene, I don't think that what she's feeling is fake. I don't think that this storyline is wrong, because Drew has since posted on Twitter. I don't think that this storyline is that outlandish as everybody is saying that it is. Some of it may be exaggerated. Maybe the one with the assistant maybe exaggerated. You know what I'm saying? But this particular one with her crying and him walking, her walking away, and then when she comes back in, he now kind of digs it even more. I just do too much. I shouldn't do something for you. I should have never planned this. Why'd you gotta ruin it? Like, he's now making her feel like really bad. I mean, at some point in the conversation, Drew actually apologized for being honest. It's crazy the level of gaslighting that this man does for her. And I'm just thinking to myself, bitch, this kind of person will actually commit murder, and you'll be sitting up there telling him, yo, I just saw you choke this person. And he'll be like, no, I didn't. That's not what you saw. You seeing things. You need to understand the definition of murder, because what you just said is not what it is. That's not what I would do. I didn't murder that person. That person just ran into the knife several times. I didn't stab them. So you're not going to blame me for it, because you need to understand that there are certain things. The mindset of a man is that sometimes I could stand there holding a knife, and then another person could just be running into it several times. It's not me committing the actual murder. It's them doing what they want to do and reacting. And for me, I didn't do nothing wrong because I'm not responding to it. See, so I didn't really kill that person. What you're trying to say right now is hurting my feelings. Don't call me a murderer because it doesn't fit the situation. That's not really what happened. That's basically how Ralph acts. This is like you be sitting there looking at something, seeing what it is, realistically perceiving what you perceive, as intelligent as you are. Dumb person, hell, a blind person, even wonder can see this shit is what it is. And you go sit up there and tell her that she's crazy, that she's wrong. And the way that he talks to her and treats her, I don't like it. And for me, Ralph is not cute to the extent to where I think Drew needs to tolerate this bullshit. Drew is a very beautiful girl. She is. So I know that people say that all of this is a storyline. I don't believe the whole thing is a storyline. I think that there's some parts of it that may be a little bit, this assistant that just popped up that we had never heard of the first season, when Drew showed up, I would say maybe a little bit of a storyline. But this whole Ralph dynamic that they have, we have seen from last season, despite that whole thing with him leaving town, the way that he has talked to her, even in the reunion that we're talking about it, he still behaves that same way. This is really who he is. So for me, I don't, I hear the little scuttlebutt about it being a storyline, but I got to address that part. Ralph is insane. He's legit insane, and that is what it is. So I'm hoping that I don't know how this season is gonna go through. I know that this season needs to have a little bit more pizzazz, because this episode wasn't as good as some of the episodes I've seen in Real Housewives. Like, Hell, Potomac is whooping his ass. However, this situation with Ralph and Drew needs to be addressed. I hope that Andy gets into Ralph's ass during the reunion, because I want to see that shit, because Ralph needs to be checked. He needs to be checked. So that is the extent of this review. Like, subscribe, let me know what you think about this review. I'm going to go ahead and post another video. I might do Kandi and the Gang review, since that's the last episode I think that just did. I might do that as well today. But go ahead and check out my other reviews. I did one on the Bad Boys LA, which I probably still need to do. I need to see if Jocelyn's Cabaret already to talk about that. But I'm going to be doing reviews regularly like I used to. Go ahead and check it out and let me know what you think. Leave comments below. Bye.